Hello, hello, everybody. Hope you're all doing well today. So, of course, if you can hear me, can you please let me know that you can hear me? If you're here and you can hear me, please just let me know that you can hear me. So, please, if you're here on the chat or just somewhere around, you could let me know by a hello, just so I'm sure that you can hear me, right? So I'm sure we had an interesting first session. Probably you probably learned a lot in the first session. We were looking at how you could we could run Google Ads effectively. So we saw how to run smart campaigns. We saw how to do a number of things on Google Ads. And well, we are still going to have a question and answer session on that, but just in case there is anything you didn't understand, right? I'll be coming on that again. So interesting. So we're going to be going ahead without wasting a lot of time. So please, maybe you could help us remind the others to join us. Maybe you could help us remind the others to join us. Yeah. So let's go ahead. My name is Simplicity, and I'm joining you specifically from Yaoundé, Cameroon, right? Yaoundé, Cameroon. I'll be your facilitator for today's session, right? And uh, of course, I'm not here alone. I'm here with Emmanuel. So you're going to see Emmanuel in the chat. Emmanuel is going to be saying hello, hi. Emmanuel is going to be in the chat answering questions too, just in case there is any questions, right? Emmanuel will answer them. Yeah, so today we're going to be looking on this session. And by the way, this is our last session, right? Uh, this is our last session. This is the last Saturday, and of course, I really wish to appreciate, really wish use this opportunity to say thank you very much to developers involved. Thank you very much to all those who participated to this training. We really hope that you were able to, to learn something. So thank you so much for joining. Thank you so much for giving us this opportunity to train you, right? And well, there are a number of things that were noticed. Some people requested, for example, for a session on Facebook ads, for example, and we're going to have a whole session on that, and it's going to be a very practical session. Yeah, so the date for that session will be communicated to you in the group, right? Just so that we know how we're going to go about it. So this is the last session, and it's a very short session, right? It may not take us very long. It's actually going to be very short because it's not a complex session, right? And of course, after that, we'll now have the opportunity to, ask questions. If there is anything you didn't understand, I'm going to be, well, that's for all the whole sessions. If there is anything you didn't understand, I'm going to come back, and explain it, or any specific challenges you have, I'm going to be addressing them, right? Yeah, so the topic we're going to be seeing today are simply uh, tools that you can use to effectively run your business, right? That's what we're going to be looking at. And well, I can see a number of people in the chat. Just Mokpo Mokpo says hi. I'm excited for this last session. Thank you so much. I can see Olivia Dockley in the chat. I can see Annette in the chat. I can see Daniela. I can see well, quite a number of people in the chat. Of course, if you're around, Just say hello in the chat, just so I'll know you're around, right? Because if you don't say hello, I'll not know that you're around. Yeah, so today we're going to be looking at tools necessary to run your business. And these are very, very important tools. For example, Impactra. For example, I am digital marketing strategist at Impactra. And Impacta Works is an international organization. We have employees in several African countries, and interestingly, I've been working, like right now, Emmanuel is my colleague, right? Or the previous trainer, Udeme, the previous trainer who trained you is my colleague. But then we've never met. I've never met Emmanuel in my whole life. Uh, I've been working for some of the colleagues, some of my colleagues. I've been working with them for the past, 8 months, but I've never seen one of them. But we work together. While I'm in Cameroon, others are in Nigeria, others are in Benin, others are in Kenya, but we successfully work together. So how do we manage to successfully work together? That's one of the things, or one of the reasons for this topic. How can you build, a company like Impactra, which has employees in several countries, and yet you're making sure that everybody is doing the task that is supposed to do, everybody is working together without any specific challenge? How do we achieve that? How do we achieve that? How am I working with people for months and even for years, but I've never met them in the physical world, and I'm most likely not to meet some of them. Yeah, very sorry. I had I guess it's network instability. That's really not very good for us. Yeah, sorry, we are in Africa. And so we always have challenges, right? So hopefully, we are going to, let's go ahead, right? Let's go ahead. Yeah, so I was saying that, we at Impact Hub, for example, we work, from several different countries, right? We work from different countries. We've never met each other, yet everybody is doing his work effectively, right? What are some of the tools that we use to be able to achieve this as a company, right? These are the tools that we're going to be sharing with you, such that you too could use these tools in your own company, right? And ensure that you get optimum results. So we're going to be looking at three things today. Firstly, we're going to be looking at getting started with the Google Workspace tools. Then we'll look at communication tools across the business. Then we'll look at collaboration tools, that you can use to run your business. Those are the three kinds of tools we're going to be looking at today, right? Yeah, so of course, so that the session could be interactive, we always ask questions, right? So the question we would like to ask today, is which tool do you currently use, right, to communicate uh, with in your business? What tools do you currently use? So maybe you could let us know what tools you currently use, to communicate with your business. You could let us know. So you could tell us in the chat what tools you use, right? Yeah, so while waiting for the answer, we're going to go ahead. So, what are business tools? Business tools are simply a collection of softwares or applications that help businesses and workplaces to bring efficiency in their processes like collaboration, communication, and customer support. So, well, just generally, business tools, have how will I say, business tools are just tools that you could use, to facilitate the whole process of your business. It will help you facilitate the whole process of your business, right? The whole operations. Sometimes you don't have to run behind people and tell people, oh, what are you doing now? What are you doing at this time? I gave you work. Why didn't you? Why didn't you? So understanding how to use these tools will really help you a lot, right? And of course, let's look at some of these tools. Well, this is just a few of them which we could look at. We have, for example, the Gmail. Well, the Gmail, which everybody is kind of familiar with. I think everybody knows what a Gmail is. Then we have the Google Calendar, we have the Google Document, we have the Google Sheet, we have the Google Slide, we have the Google Drive, we have the Google Meet, and then we have the Google Forms, right? So these are some of the tools, examples of tools in the Google Workspace. And we're going to be showing you, right, some of these tools. So why are these tools important, right? Why are these tools important? These tools are important because they will help you in case of smooth, for smooth collaboration, for improved communication. They will allow you to work. Yeah, so they are very, very secured. Just that, the network instability that I'm having. Hopefully we can go around it, right? So some importance of business tools is that these business tools, you can use these business tools to create documents, and presentations. You can use them, to collect and analyze various data and figures. You can use them to store, and manage your different files online. For example, there are some people, for example, that, when they lose their uh, when they lose maybe their phones, or maybe their phone is stolen, or they forget their phone, I don't know, when they misplace their phone, for example, they lose all their contacts, right? And they lose all the documents in their phones. Well, the simple reason you lost documents in your phone or is because you didn't, store them online, right? You didn't store them. If you stored them in a Google Drive, for example, you wouldn't have lost them. You wouldn't have lost your contact. You wouldn't have lost your documents, and many of these things that we're going to be seeing, right? So these tools could help you for networking and effective communication with other individuals. Like you could use maybe the Google Meet, for example. You could use the Google Meet, to collaborate with people. Sometimes we have meetings with people all over the world, right? With Google Meet. Today, for example, we don't have to meet. And I think even this whole session is a proof that we don't have to meet, right? Because right now I'm in Cameroon. Emmanuel maybe is in Nigeria, and we have people, the other people from Ghana, yet we are talking. I can listen to you, I can answer your questions, whereas we are not necessarily in the same place, right? Yeah, so these tools will help you for smooth collaboration. For example, you can use the business email, video conferences, cloud storage, file sharing, you know. So let's look at some tools, examples of tools that you can use for collaboration, right? Let's look at examples of tools that you can use for collaboration. Yeah, so some tools you can use for collaboration, for example, we have the Google Doc, we have the Google Sheet, and the Google Slide. I'm going to be explaining all of that, right? So let's start with the Google Doc. The Google document is just like a Microsoft Word document, right? I'm sure that many of us here should know what a Microsoft Word document is, or many of us must have used a Microsoft Word document. But then the Google Doc is the online version of the Microsoft Word document. You know, the advantage of the Google Doc over the Microsoft Word document, you know, is that the Google Doc is stored online. For example, if I work on a Microsoft Word document and I happen to misplace my key, my USB key, or my computer or my phone, guess what? I've lost my document. But then, if I'm working on a Google Doc instead, I will not be able to lose my document. So, a Google Doc will help you to store your documents online. So just like I said, a Google Doc is simply a Microsoft Word document, just that it's the online version of it. And one of the beautiful things about the Google Doc is that many people can be working on the same document at the same time. Sometimes if we are doing a Microsoft Word document, I have to, maybe do some work, send it to somebody to edit, then the person will send it to another person to edit. Sometimes the whole editing process could take very long, right? Whereas on a Google Doc, we can all work on the same document. So you can see what I'm doing while me, I'm seeing what you're doing using a Google Doc. And the Google Doc is free, right? The Google Doc is free. And once you have a Google Doc, you will never have issues like, oh, I lost my document, they stole my phone, I can't find my documents any longer, right? So this is very, very this is very, very important. This is one of the great advantages of the Google Doc. So let's talk about the Google Sheet, right? So the Google Sheet, on the other hand, is just like a Microsoft Excel, for those of you who use Excel, right? The Google Sheet is just like the Excel, just that the Google Sheet is the online version of the Excel, document. So everything you can do on Excel, you can also do it on the Google Sheet. And guess what? Just like the Google Doc, many people can work on the Google Sheet at the same time. Meaning that if we have, let's say we have 5,000 contacts to input on a Google Sheet, all of us can work on the same Google Sheet at the same time, and of course, it is stored online, so you're never going to lose it, right? Even if you misplace your phone or you misplace your laptop, let's say, for example, right now I'm in Cameroon. If I decide to move from Cameroon to Ghana, for example, to Accra, Ghana, what I can do when I get there is just get any laptop, connect it to the internet, and I have back all my documents. So these are some of the amazing stuff about the Google Sheet, right? And then we have the Google Slide. Now the Google Slide is used for presentations, right? Presentations. Like the presentation that we are showing you right now, it can be done with a Google slide, right? It can be done with a Google slide. So the Google slide is just like the Microsoft PowerPoint, for those who know what Microsoft PowerPoint is. So it's just like the Microsoft PowerPoint, just that, of course, is the online version. Online version means that you cannot lose it. Online version means that many people can work on the same slide at the same time, right? Online version means that many people can be on the same document at the same time, seeing what each and everyone is doing, right? So these are the advantages of these online documents, right? So the Google slide can be used for presentations, well, mostly for presentations, right? You can design your presentations, design your slides, and many other stuff that you can do with the Google slide, right? So these are very, very important stuff to understand. So we looked at collaboration tools, right? Now let's look at some communication tools, right? Some communication tools. And you know, especially when it comes to digital marketing or online business as a whole, we are all aware of the role of remote communication, right? Sometimes you're going to have customers out of your country, sometimes you're going to have customers out of your city, but then you have to communicate with them, you have to send documents to them, you have to hold meetings with them, right? You have to schedule sessions with them. How do you achieve that, right? So some of the communication tools that we have, for example, we have the Gmail, which I'm sure many of us know. We have the Google Calendar and then the Google Meet, right? So let's talk about the Gmail. Well, uh, I'm sure many of us know what a Gmail is. A Gmail, is simply is free mail service, introduced by Google that permits, the sending and the reception of mails over the internet. And just to mention that the Gmail is very, very important, right? Because there are some sensitive documents that you're not advised to send via WhatsApp, right? Because, well, not because WhatsApp is insecure, but then just because of the loose and open nature of WhatsApp. WhatsApp is more of an informal, communication platform, but the Gmail is very, very formal. So there are some very strategic documents that you may not want to send via Gmail, right? Via WhatsApp rather, but you want to send them via Gmail. And of course, one of the advantages of sending documents via Gmail is that they are stored in the cloud. So each time you need them, you can always go and download them, right? Yeah, then we have the Google Calendar. The Google Calendar is very, very important and it allows you to remain organized, right? The Google Calendar will make you stay organized. I'll take, for example, today is the 12th of August, right? 12th of August 2013. Now, imagine for a moment that I had a meeting with a customer on the 18th of November, right? So today is the 12th of August, and I'm having the meeting on the 18th of November. That's like 4 months ahead from now. Now, trust me, I'm most likely to forget. I'm most likely to forget that meeting. I mean, even if I jot it down, there are very high chances that I'll forget. But what can I do? I can schedule that meeting on a Google Calendar, such that 3 days to that meeting, the Google Calendar can send me a reminder, or 30 minutes to that meeting, it can send me a reminder. So the Google Calendar will help you a lot in scheduling your meetings, your sessions. It will help you a lot because sometimes you may have a lot of meetings. It happens, that maybe in one week you're going to have like 14 meetings, right? So how do you remember all of them? You obviously have to schedule them, so the Google Calendar will help you a lot in that direction. And I use the Google Calendar even for my personal stuff, because I have friends, well, I used to have friends, for example, who used to complain a lot, that I forgot about their birthdays, you know, oh, you never, why didn't you wish me happy birthday and all of that? So one of the things I did was I simply took, many of all my friends, their birthdays, I align them on a Google Calendar. Such that when it's a friend's birthday, I have an automatic reminder, right? And that will save you from a lot of trouble. Trust me, it will save you from a lot of trouble. Then we have the Google Meet. So the Google Meet allows people to connect, right? The Google Meet is more for conferencing or conferences, right? You can hold online conferences with over 250 people. Doesn't matter which area they are in the world, if they have internet, we can connect, right? Doesn't matter where they are. If we have internet, we can connect. So we can have meetings with people from several countries, where we discuss about strategy, ideas, and many stuff, right? So the Google Meet is a place where you can do a lot of online meetings and online conferences, and it can take up to 250 people, right? Yeah, so that's it for the Google Meet. So these tools will allow you to work smartly, right? It's all about being masters of our time and being able to choose. These tools will allow you to work smartly. These tools are adequately trained to hear somebody who says, I stored my document in, I don't know, in a Google Doc and it was hacked. All these kind of things, you're most likely not going to hear them because they are highly secured by Google. Right? So you can feel free to store your information and store whatever information you want to store there. Feel free to store it, right? Now, so let's look at some storage tools, right? What are some storage tools that we have? Oh, so for the storage tools, we have the Google Drive, for example. Uh, the Google Drive will allow you store information. It could be whatever. It could be pictures, it could be videos, it could be files. Whatever you want to store, you can store it in your drive. The other day I was going through my drive, my Google Drive, and I saw pictures that I stored close to 7 years ago. Interesting. I stored pictures close to 7 years ago, and they are still there, right? They are not going anywhere. So if I want to have archive of those pictures, I'm going to store them. And the Google Drive is a very good place, to store very sensitive information, right? Very sensitive. Sometimes maybe your company data or very sensitive information about your company that you don't want to lose, right? So since you don't want to lose, you'll want to store them, right? So the Google Drive is very, very important. Any information you don't want to lose, you can put them on the Google Drive, right? You can save your contacts on the Google Drive. You can back up your data on the Google Drive, and it's really going to it's really going to help, right? Yeah. So let's go ahead. So we've come to the first pause for questions, right? We've come to the first pause for questions. If you have any questions, please put them in the chat, and I'm going to be addressing them. BA Cube says this helps. Thanks. Thank you, BA. Chika Amana is asking, what is archive and how does it work? Well, the last phase of this presentation, we're going to be having a practical exercise where I'll show you exactly how you can, store your information in the drive. It's actually very easy. How it works is that you just have to go and download them on your Play Store. For those of you who have phones, you can just go and download them on your Play Store. But then let's go ahead. We're going to look at all of that. So how to create a workspace account, right? So how do we go about these tools, these different tools? How do we go about them? Now, the journey all starts at workspace.google.com, right? It all starts at workspace.google.com. So what I would recommend is that you head on to workspace.google.com. Maybe Emmanuel could help us type that in the chat, or I'll do it myself. Workspace.google.com. Great. So I just sent workspace.google.com in the chat, right? So that's where the whole journey starts from. So you have to head on to workspace.google.com. They're going to ask you for your business name, right? Then you will input your business name. They're going to ask you to add, your contact details, which you add. You have to choose a domain name. It's already there, right? You just have to choose it. Then you have to update your business address and then set up your login details. So just head on to workspace.google.com and just follow the instructions. They are not hard, right? Just follow the instructions. They will help you create a workspace account with Google, right? The link has been dropped, workspace.google.com. Yeah, so tips to help improve your communication across businesses, right? Across your business. First, we have in person communication, right? In person communication means that you can schedule regular check-in meetings. If you're having an organization, maybe you can do regular meetings, calls via meet or calendar, to evaluate your team, see how your team is doing, see if there is something you can do. You can connect with other colleagues across the globe, right? Maybe you have partners out of the country, like Impacta. We have a lot of partners in different countries, and we connect with them, right, using the Google Meet. You can work on similar or group projects real time across different locations. Like I spoke about, the Google Doc, the Google Slide, the Google Meet, which are documents, which we can all work um, on the same document at the same time, right? On the same document at the same time. And you can join using different devices. It could be, Android, whatever device, laptop, whatever device. Once it can connect to the internet, we can all join the meetings. Interesting. Then we have stay organized, right? Like we said, the Google Calendar can help you to stay organized. You can schedule meetings and events on your Google Calendar, so that you will not forget them. Some people are really good at forgetting. They really forget a lot. They forget meetings a lot. And one of the ways, well, when they forget, it's not like it's a weakness necessarily. Sometimes the reason you forget meetings is just because you didn't plan, or just because you didn't take precautions or steps that will help you to avoid that, right? So one of the things you can do is just a Google Calendar. If you have a meeting with somebody, just put it on a Google Calendar, and then the Google Calendar is going to remind you when you have the meeting, right? So let's go ahead. Create a mailing list. Now, a mailing list is very, very important. Well, if you have a company, right, and you have maybe less than 10 employees or five, you may not see the use of a mailing list. It's possible, because maybe you can send one email, two emails, three emails, four emails at the same time, right? But then imagine you were working in a company with 500 employees, right? Imagine you were working with a company with 500 employees, 1,000 employees, and then you have to send emails to all of these 1,000 employees. Come on. You're not going to send them one after the other, right? Like email one, email two. No. I mean, it's not possible. That's why there are some tools that you can use to send bulk emails, right? Some tools you can use to send bulk emails. For example, there are tools like Aweber, Constant Contact, Mailchimp, that you can use to send over 1,000 emails at the same time, right? So these tools are very, very important. Very, very important. Yeah, so let's look at the last one, which is creating rooms, right? You can create rooms, on Google Meet, where you meet with people all around the world, right? In different countries. That's very, very possible. So we've spoken about the Google Meet already, right? So again, one thing I would maybe want to precise, of course, if you have questions, please put the questions in the chat because I'm going to be answering them. Then we'll go into the last phase of our presentation. One thing that you have to note when it comes to tools, is that you only master tools by using them, right? So many of these tools that we have shared with you, if you're not used to them, I would recommend that you start using them. For example, you can start using the Google Meet, right? The Google Meet, for example, you can, I don't know, if you're married or if you have a wife or I don't know, or kids, you can tell your wife, hello, baby, we're going to be having our family meeting today on Google Meet. Well, the whole point is just practice, right? Just practice. Practice the tools that you have learned, practice them, right? It's only by practicing that you'll become good at them, right? So that's very important. So we've mentioned the Google Calendar, the Google Doc. Make sure you practice how to do them. So of course, let's go to the last phase, which is the practical phase. Uh, so what I would like you to do is to take your phones, right? Just take your phones. We're going to be concluding in less than 10 minutes, right? We're going to be concluding in less than 10 minutes. So take your phones and head on to your Play Store, right? For those of you who have phones, right? Just take your. Oh, Michael Conado says I should slow down a bit. Please, if there is anything you didn't understand, please let me know. I'm going to explain again. So don't worry. Yeah, so what I would like you to do is to take your phone. Hmm? Take your phone and go to your Play Store. I'm sure everybody should have a Play Store on his or her phone, right? So go on Play Store. Uh, let me see. Yeah. Okay, so go on Play Store, right? And then click on Play Store and then click on the bar, right? Click on the search bar, right? And type there Google Doc, you know, Google Sheets and download, Google Slide download, Google Drive download, right? Maybe I should just put in the comment what you should type, right? Google Doc, then Google Sheet, right? Then Google Slide. I just want to type, then Google Drive, uh, Google Meet. Yeah. So I just sent in the chat, what you could type. So we have the Google Doc, the Google Sheet, the Google Slide, the Google Drive, the Google Meet. Make sure you type them, right? Make sure you type them and download them, right? When you type them, download them. BA is saying, I'm using my phone for the live. We'll practice later. That's okay. That's totally fine. So download them and start using them. So that's basically all for today's session. So maybe rather than using a Word document as you usually do, you can use a Google Doc. Rather than using an Excel sheet as you usually do, you can use a Google Sheet. Rather than using um, PowerPoint, Microsoft PowerPoint, you can use a Google Slide, right? Or you can use, you can go ahead and use whatever you want to use. That's completely okay. Yes, so we've come to the end of our session, right? We've come to the end of our session. Thank you so much. Uh, this is our last session, right? This is our last session, and honestly, I want to appreciate. Okay, just before I start appreciating, right? I just want to answer questions. If you have any questions, please put it in the chat. Matthew Mensah says, I have it already. Okay, fine. If you have it already, that's fine. Annette says, yes, please, I really need practice. Yes. Chika Amana says, what is the difference or advantage of Google Doc over Word document? Well, Chika Amana, I've spoken about this already, right? The advantage of the Google Doc over the Word document is that the Google Doc is online, right? So you cannot lose it. You can access it through any device. Even if you lose your device, you can access it through another device. And many people can work on the same document at the same time, right? At the same time. So another question that we have is, how do you create a mailing list using Gmail? Well, you actually don't create a mailing list using Gmail, not really. But rather, you can create a mailing list. There are many ways. It depends on the objective of your mailing list. Sometimes people create mailing list, using just by sending out questionnaires, right? Sending out maybe Google forms to people, and then they fill their names and they input their emails. Then you have a mailing list. Sometimes you can create a mailing list by creating a landing page which allows people to input their information, right? Or sometimes you can create a mailing list by using some tools. Today, for example, it's possible to know somebody's email from the person's name. It's possible that if I know your name, right, I can know your email. There are tools that you can use to achieve that today. Some of these tools, for example, you can have um, which tool? Snuff.io, right? With Snuff.io, for example, you know, if I know your name, I can know your email. So sometimes from the names of people, you can generate their emails. Well, some of these tools are free, but then some are paid. And of course, for you to have most quality results, you may have to pay for them, right? So Michael is asking, can these tools be used without the internet data? No, 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 it's not possible. I mean, that's the whole point. It has to be used using internet, right? So that it can be stored. Yeah, so we've come to the end of our session. Please, the attendance form. I don't know if Emmanuel could help us with the attendance form. Emmanuel, could you please drop the attendance form for this session, right? Or maybe let me just look for it myself. I don't know. I don't know if Emmanuel has the attendance form, but then if he doesn't have, I'll just drop it myself, right? Where is the attendance form? Yeah, I think I have it here. I think I have it here. Uh, Great. So the attendance form has been dropped. I hope you can see it, right? Let me drop a number of times just so that you know. Yeah. So the attendance form has been dropped. Please make sure you fill the attendance form. And this was our last session, right? This was our last session. Thank you so much, so much, right? That was 4 Saturdays. I'm sure many of you had to sacrifice a lot of things, right? A lot of stuff to come. So thank you very much. We are really grateful. Thank you to developers in Vogue for giving us this amazing opportunity. We are really, really grateful. And of course, we're gonna program an advanced session, right? Where we're gonna be going into more depth on digital marketing, because this first phase that we had was quite basic, you know And the next phases are going to be more intense, very, very intense. We're going to be looking into some adverts, looking into some algorithms and many other stuff. Well, which all those who attended these sessions will be eligible to attend the next session. So thank you so much. Thank you very much. And of course, somebody is asking for the topic. What's the topic for today? The topic for today is implementing Google Workspace across your business, right? Implementing the Google Workspace across your business. So thank you so much for coming, and bye bye. Thank you very much, and bye bye. Don't forget to fill the attendance form, please. Don't forget.